How do you feel overall they stack up in this conference?
They're right there. They are right there. You look at their losses. All 3 games were very, very tough teams, one being the Lions, the Vikings, who are a half game in front of them, and the Eagles. So it's not like they've had any really bad losses. The bell cow, Josh Jacobs, to me, is the difference maker right now. I think everything Matt LaFleur is doing is operating around him, and he also adds just a toughness and a grit. I mean, you look at some of these runs here, Jay, and he's a man on a mission. And the yards after contact are incredible. Here, end zone, we get hit on the 2, we still find a way in. Again, the bell cow just gets it done. He was a little quiet earlier, but I say this week in and week out, when you have a runner like him, he will wear you down. In the 4th quarter, you get the big plays. And I say it, everything operates around him. Then all of a sudden, you got all hands on deck to try and stop Josh Jacobs. You hit Christian Watson on a big one. And then I really like how they're using Jayden Reed right now because he's kind of the screen guy. The earlier touchdown was a short throw. He can win those underneath routes. So they have a lot of pieces, and they have a bell cow that they kind of operate around. And that is a very good recipe to have success on offense. Jordan Love's playing well. Again, they are right there. Clearly, the Lions are the #1 team in the NFC right now. But right on their heels are the Vikings and the Packers.
And then on the opposite side, in the AFC, have the Dolphins, and they came in, everybody talked about the fact that they never win cold weather games, and it seemed like a weird narrative. But then you actually watch them out there, Luke, and they genuinely look very uncomfortable in that cold weather.
They do. And Jay, you said it. I'm not like a cold weather, this guy can't play in the cold.
Right.
But what I think it is in the cold weather games that I've played in, there's a certain, extra degree of toughness or grit or mentality that you've got to bring to the table. And I thought at points today, this team was just showing that they don't have that. The drop punt early was very, very tough. But beyond that, they started the game with some false starts, 15-yard penalties, and they're just forcing the ball a little bit. And again, we talk about tough plays. Here's a moment that you could have gotten back into this game. Your 4th and goal from the 1. The bell cow would get that ball.
Absolutely.
But we can't run the ball or feel comfortable, so we don't call a run play there. And that's where I say, I'm not sure if it's the cold weather necessarily or the idea that in these cold weather games, there's a level of grit that this team simply does not have. They are a speed team through and through, and they do not want to get in a game where it gets a little grimy.
And let's look at the AFC playoff picture and remind everybody that because the Dolphins lost tonight, Luke, a win by the Bills on Sunday Night Football over the Niners, and they would clinch the AFC East already.
I mean, it's very impressive. You got to tip your cap to the Bills. Beating Kansas City last week. They're in the driver's seat. Probably hoping to somehow find a way to get that 1 seed.
Miami hosts the Jets next week, so that feels like a win. You've still given them a chance to get back in the wild card?
I think it'll be very, very tough. Again, I just think late in the season, you got to have that grit, and tonight kind of was the stamp for me that this team simply does not have that type of toughness.
The teams in the hunt, Luke, who do you feel like has the best chance to maybe get into that wild card?
To me, it's got to be the Bengals still. I sit here, they got a very, very tough matchup. They got a very tough matchup this week against the Steelers. But all of a sudden then you're 5-7. They've got a couple easy games in a row. Sorry, Cowboys fans, you're in there. I believe the Titans are in there. And now all of a sudden, again, if they can find a way to win the Steelers game and take care of business against 2 teams that they're much better than, they're sitting at 8-7.
Yep.
And perhaps the Broncos slip up. I don't think anyone would be shocked at that. And they play the Broncos later in the year. So that would be where I'm at with that.